Hello, friends. Welcome to our channel, where you and I will dive into the exciting world of Stoicism, a philosophy that can change your outlook on life. Today, we will reveal to you 8 amazing Stoic principles that will make you unshakable in the face of the challenges of fate. Are you ready to accept the challenge of distinguishing between influence and reaction, master the art of self-control, and open the path to continuous improvement? Let's dive into this exciting adventure together. The distinction between influence and reaction. This principle teaches us to realize that many aspects of life are beyond our control, but we can always control our reactions to these events. Stoics emphasize that we can only influence our thoughts, actions, and decisions, while external circumstances, the actions of other people, and many aspects of the world around us do not always depend on us. The application of this principle in everyday life is widely used. For example, when we encounter traffic jams on the road, Stoics advise not to get annoyed by nothing to change the outside world, but to focus on how to use this time more productively, for example, listening to an audiobook or thinking about something. Similarly, in situations where we are criticized or the opinions of others, Stoics have learned not to take negative words to heart, since the opinions of other people are not always under our control. Instead, they focus on how they can improve themselves and their actions. Even in the case of crises such as job loss, Stoics look at it not as the end, but as a new beginning. Instead of sinking into despair, they see an opportunity for new beginnings and the development of their skills. Thus, the distinction between influence and reaction allows Stoics to effectively manage their emotional response to external circumstances while maintaining internal stability. Self-control. The principle of self-control in Stoicism suggests that we should develop control over our emotions and reactions to events, even if we cannot control the events themselves. This does not mean denying emotions, but rather the ability to manage them intelligently and thoughtfully. Self-control begins with being aware of our emotions and understanding how they affect our thinking and behavior. It is important to learn not to succumb to hot-tempered reactions, but to look at the situation more objectively and calmly. This does not mean that Stoics offer suppression of emotions, but on the contrary, offer a conscious perception of them. The application of this principle in life can be expressed in how we respond to stress at work, conflicts in relationships, or failures. Instead of giving free rein to hot-tempered emotions, the Stoics learn to step back, assess the situation, and make an informed decision. It can also include the ability to postpone a reaction to a certain point when emotions subside, and we can make decisions more clearly. Ultimately, self-control gives us the freedom to choose how we react to the world around us, and allows us to maintain our inner stability even in difficult situations. This is not just the suppression of emotions, but their conscious management in accordance with our values and goals. Self-control in Stoicism also includes awareness of the inner world and the ability to overcome internal storms. When we face difficulties, Stoics instruct us not to lose control of our reactions. Emotions such as fear, anger, or anxiety can arise instantly, but it is important to be able to balance them without letting them completely take over us. One of the practical methods of developing self-control is meditation. The Stoics paid attention to training the mind and used practices aimed at increasing awareness and pacifying the mind. Meditation techniques allow you to control the flow of thoughts, reduce the influence of emotions, and make decisions more clearly. In addition, self-control in Stoicism includes responsibility for one's actions. Instead of blaming external circumstances or other people, Stoics call for awareness of their actions. This implies taking responsibility for your mistakes and striving for continuous improvement. As a result, the principle of self-control in Stoicism is not just about controlling emotions. It is a philosophy of life that helps us keep our minds clear, even when the world around us seems unstable. By developing this principle, we come to understand that our reaction to events is key to how we perceive and interact with the world around us. A reasonable solution. In Stoicism, A reasonable decision involves using reason and logic to make informed decisions in difficult situations. Stoics teach us to separate emotions from our thinking and make decisions based on common sense and expediency. The point is to approach problems and challenges with a clear and rational mind. Instead of being given emotional reactions, Stoics suggest taking a step back, evaluating the facts, and considering possible options for action. The application of a reasonable solution in everyday life can be expressed in the following. Conflict resolution. Instead of responding to conflict with emotional aggression, Stoics have learned to analyze the situation, understand the motives of other people, and offer constructive solutions. Making important decisions. When faced with difficult choices, Stoics recommend weighing all aspects of the situation, turning to facts rather than feelings, and making a decision that is consistent with our values and long-term goals. Stress management. The SMART solution approach is also applicable to stress management. Instead of sinking into a feeling of helplessness, Stoics advise to understand the causes of stress, consider the situation objectively, and look for rational steps to solve the problem. The principle of a reasonable decision calls for not letting emotions take over decisions, and on the contrary, making decisions based on clear thinking and logic. This contributes not only to a better understanding of situations, but also to a more effective solution to problems in life. Dedication. The principle of dedication in Stoicism encourages us to seek meaning and purpose in our lives. Stoics claim that having goals and striving for something higher help to create inner stability and fill life with meaning. The basic idea is to define your values, goals, and vocation, and then direct your life accordingly. When a person realizes what he lives for, he becomes less susceptible to external influences and more focused on his own goals. The application of the principle of dedication in life involves defining goals and clearly defining what is important to us. These can be personal goals, as well as goals in relationships, career, and self-development. After defining the goals, it is worth making a commitment to achieve them. Stoics claim that such a focus helps not only to strengthen inner stability, but also to give our lives a deeper and more meaningful meaning. The principle of dedication is based on the belief that when we give our lives meaning, we become more resistant to life's difficulties and changes. The meaning of life can manifest itself in various forms. This can be the pursuit of self-improvement, caring for loved ones, creating or maintaining meaningful relationships, or even serving society. The Stoics teach that initiation makes us less dependent on external circumstances. When we have a clear understanding of goals and objectives, we can better navigate difficult situations and make decisions consistent with our values. The principle of dedication also includes awareness of the moment and the value of the present. Stoics urge us not to postpone the search for the meaning of life for later, but to start building our lives meaningfully right now. So, dedication in Stoicism is not just about setting goals, but also actively striving to achieve them, which gives meaning to life and fills it with depth. In the awareness of our vocation and goals, we find inner stability and the ability to withstand life's adversities with clarity and fortitude. Accepting the inevitable. The principle of accepting inevitability in Stoicism teaches us calmness and wisdom in accepting what we cannot change. This means accepting the fact that there are things in life that we cannot influence, and that changing these circumstances is beyond our control. Stoics claim that by realizing the limitations of our power, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress and anxiety. Accepting the inevitable does not mean inactivity or passivity. Rather, it is a wise approach to how we treat those forces that lie beyond our power. The application of the principle of accepting inevitability in life includes calm attitude to change. Stoics have learned not to react to changes in the outside world with panic or resistance, but on the contrary, to accept them as a natural part of life. Accepting losses. When we face losses or setbacks, Stoics advise us not to despair, but to see this as a chance for personal growth and development. Understanding limitations. Accepting the inevitable also involves understanding the boundaries of what we can change and what remains beyond our influence. This allows us to use our resources and energy more efficiently. The principle of accepting inevitability helps us develop inner stability and the ability to maintain psychological balance even in conditions of uncertainty. It also promotes the development of wisdom and willingness to adapt to change, which is an important aspect of resilience in the face of inevitable changes and challenges. Fairness. The principle of justice in Stoicism implies adherence to moral principles and justice in one's actions. Stoics teach us that, regardless of external circumstances, it is important to observe high moral standards and act with justice to oneself and others. This principle is based on the understanding that we cannot control everything that happens in life, but we can always control our reactions and actions. Justice becomes an internal guideline that helps us make wise and ethical decisions. The application of the principle of justice in life includes morality in decisions. Stoics insist on taking into account not only their personal interests, but also the common good when making decisions. This implies respect for the rights and feelings of others, responsibility for one's actions. The principle of justice also includes the willingness to take responsibility for one's actions. The Stoics teach us to be consistent in observing moral norms, even when it is difficult. Tolerance and respect. Relationships with others are based on tolerance and respect. Fairness in communication implies honesty, openness, and a willingness to see the good in other people. The principle of justice in Stoicism helps shape our behavior so that it meets high standards of morality. It also contributes to the creation of harmonious relationships and helps to strengthen inner stability through conscious and moral behavior. Wisdom in choosing a fight. The principle of wisdom in choosing a fight in Stoicism presupposes a reasonable and strategic use of one's energy and resources. The Stoics instruct us to focus on what really lends itself to our influence and to distinguish where our efforts can produce the best result. The essence of this principle is to avoid useless struggle with what cannot be changed and instead direct our energy to those areas where we can make real changes. The application of the principle of wisdom in choosing a struggle in life includes prioritization. Stoics have learned to prioritize and focus on tasks that make a real difference to their goals. This allows them to use their resources more efficiently, accepting failures and learning from them. Wisdom in choosing a struggle involves the ability to see failures and difficulties not as an end, but as an opportunity to learn lessons and develop. It also helps to avoid unnecessary suffering due to situations that we cannot change. Flexibility and adaptation. Stoics teach flexibility in thinking and willingness to adapt to change. This allows them to respond effectively to new circumstances and maintain internal stability. The principle of wisdom in choosing a fight helps us become more strategic in using our time and energy, which in turn helps to strengthen internal stability and achieve more meaningful results. Continuous improvement. The principle of constant improvement in Stoicism implies the desire to improve oneself as a person and the search for constant growth. Stoics teach us that steadfastness does not mean static, but on the contrary, requires constant development and improvement. The essence of this principle is the recognition that we always have the opportunity to improve ourselves, both internally and externally. This includes working on your weaknesses, developing new skills, and finding a deep understanding of yourself. The application of the principle of continuous improvement in life includes introspection. Regular introspection allows us to better understand our strengths and weaknesses, which is the starting point for personal growth. Learning and development. Stoics emphasize the importance of learning and continuous development. This may include reading, learning new skills, or attending educational events. The practice of virtues. The development of virtues such as wisdom, justice, moderation, and courage becomes an integral part of continuous improvement. These virtues help us not only to become better internally, but also to interact with the world around us more constructively.